Hey, Tim here. I'm going to talk to you about your financial future. Actually, how to make money off of installing solar panels, insulation, green technology. And I'll show you how I did it. Actually got free solar panels and a couple of Teslas from this whole endeavor. So here we go. So I'm a retired engineer, so I'm naturally analytic about my future and my savings because they are limited. I'm living on a fixed income, so to speak. But I figured, how can I add more money to my bucket here? And solar power is one way to generate income. The other is stocks. So I'm very gently started to play with stocks. And once I had the solar installed, I invested in these two stocks, SunPower and Enphase. And then I figured, how can I stop my bucket from leaking? What was leaking out was energy in terms of climate control. I had a ground source heat pump, which I thought was saving me money, but was running almost constantly last summer. So I replaced that, as well as leaking of just heat out the house. My house was built in 1945, and I wanted to stop that leak in terms of insulation. So I finally found a company, it's rather obvious, USA Insulation, that were able to plug my walls from the outside. So now we're going to talk with my solar installer, Matt Santilleri from Tarasol Energies. So here we go. So Matt, can you talk about your expanding business here with solar power?
Oh yeah, we're doing really well this year. We've installed record number of residential installs, and commercially it's growing. We're starting to get into the battery side of the business, residentially and commercially. We're getting ready to install a large commercial 75 kW battery, flow battery, so that should be interesting. And then residentially, SunPower actually has their own battery backup system, which we should be installing at the beginning of early next year.
I know you installed our system here.
Yes, we did.
This is a small part. This is the house and the garage here have solar panels, as well as Matt delivered some DC panels for a new trailer RV system that'll have 2.4 kilowatts. So appreciate what you do, Matt. So after the solar panels were installed, I became active in investing in the stock market and also just observing what my panels could produce. So here's one day, actually 1 year of production, how many tons of CO2 were saved, and the fact that it was making money for me. Not actually making, but saving, avoiding the cost. And then I have this SREC system. It's a system of compensating solar generators like myself. I also invested in a new heat pump. My old heat pump was wailing away, wasting energy. So I got a SEER 24, which is one of the highest in the industry for a 3-ton or 36,000 BTU system. And it's variable speed, so it quiet my system down quite a bit. So just a side note, I looked at all the manufacturers when I did this because it's pretty high dollars to replace a climate control system. China is on the leading edge of HVAC systems. So all the major carriers, no pun intended, here's carrier, use the Chinese compressors. And they're very reliable now and for pretty quiet on the variable speed side. I wanted variable speed, it's super quiet, and just love it over the old system. And it's also the HSPF, the heating. In the heating system, this will heat down to minus 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is why I got the carrier. It was more efficient than the Mitsubishi even. And so I'll show you how they come up with that. So here we go. So here's the detailed specifications showing what this system is that I bought. It's a 4 equals to 24 SEER, which is the highest in the industry. Then the 36 is the BTUs, 36,000 BTUs, divided by 12 is equal to 3 tons. That's the old English measurement, but they call it a 3-ton. Then at 17 degrees Fahrenheit, I was interested in that because it rarely goes down much below there. in my neck of the woods. We have a total kilowatt input at its maximum rating at 70 degrees Fahrenheit there. It turned out to be 30% more efficient than the Mitsubishi unit that they were offering me. Although the Mitsubishi would run down to -5 Fahrenheit, I didn't feel like, this will run down to -3 Fahrenheit, so it's just fine. And it was more efficient than the Mitsubishi. Okay, the next patch in my financial bucket was insulation. And I didn't realize this, but you could get, since I have a brick house, they install it from the outside. So they drill all these holes in your walls and then verify that it has a clear path to fill up the gaps. They fill it up, and then they move on to patch it up just like this. In time, these holes won't be able to be seen, and it just kind of fills up everything in the house. Some stuff we did not expect. Things that some little projects I was working on that had entrance to the outside, the foam filled, which is great. It really is going to be much better. Next, how did I afford all this? So I basically looked at SRECs. I averaged about $30 a month over the lifetime here, about $360 a year credit. And here's how I did it. So here's a spreadsheet. The original solar installation, about 47,000. Then I look at my generation every year, assuming about 20 cents per kilowatt hour, and then it starts to subtract from that difference. So the break-even point is about 14 years, and I believe that's a reasonable calculation. And this spreadsheet shows that during the lifetime of the system, it should save just under $20,000. And it's, of course, highly variable, but it could be a lot more, it could be a lot less, depending on the cost of electricity during that time. So why do I say that this is essentially a free system? The reason was I invested about $20,000 in SunPower because I really liked the product, and as well as Enphase. I knew that they would do well. And look at that return, 663% over 5 years, and I invested in 2019. I made 22 to almost 23,000 off of SunPower, and made 72,000 roughly off of Enphase. And these are just amazing. Now I have not cashed these in because I think they'll still keep going up as people realize that solar is the solution to many energy issues. So thanks for listening, and please subscribe.
Ready? Action.